Welcome back to Navigating the Shift. This is Annabelle, and I'm Sarah. And today we're going to be talking about energetic stuff, not so much current events and all the silly politics, which who cares? But except for one thing, talking about a really basic energy behind what's going on with the COVID nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And what to look out for, and also how the astrology lines up with that. And the way I kind of got to that was, as I mentioned the last time we recorded, I got hit with a normally lethal dose of radiation. And I'd been taking certain things, supplements, and I made my own homemade CBD oil the night before it happened, and it tasted so good. Most me and my dog, who got walloped too, were eating spoonful and spoonful of it, which is a protectant or the things that they give people to clear out radiation. As a matter of fact, they grew hemp plants all around Chernobyl to clean out the soil.
Wow.
It's very powerful for that, and probably saved our lives. And I'm saying thank you guys for motivating me. Yeah, night's tonight to make it, and boy, does this taste good. So
yeah.
Rather than being the victim of why me, it was more like, oh, okay. They are taking care of me. It took a minute to shift to that, though. But the bottom line is that I've been having a lot of health stuff, including things with blood and bone marrow and pins and needles in my legs and numbness and weakness and just really ridiculous stuff. And so a good friend of mine in Russia, Dina, and her husband, Alex, they're both amazing, powerful healers. And we got together last night and jointly at a agreed time. They're in, did I mention they're in Siberia? So we did just an energetic connection. And a healing. They worked on me. And while I was just sitting here comfortably going, okay, I'm just going to be open to what's going on. I know they're both powerful. All of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm going to go to sleep. Oh. And then 40 minutes later, pop, I'm hungry. I mean, my eyes literally just pop open. It was really funny. And it turns out that's exactly the length of time they'd worked on me. We did this. We started at about 8 o'clock in the evening and nighttime for me. And I hadn't been able to eat all day. And so for me to suddenly go pop and wake up hungry, it was like, I'm hungry. That's a really good thing, because that's been a problem with me. I lost a ton of weight.
Yeah, you look a lot more perky today. A lot more perky.
Yeah, and what a shift. So then we sort of texted back and forth. Actually, it was on Skype chat, whatever, but that neither here nor there. And she was telling me that there was stuff in my father line that makes sense with what I'm working on personally. And I'll share just a little, is that I realized that because in my childhood, my father, my uncle, and the writing instructors, all these men that I needed and I loved and trusted, they all molested me. So I grew up with a thing that men on some basic level can't be trusted, and they'll always let you down. And I didn't realize that. And when my sons became adults, it got applied to them, which I still feel very sad about. I'm still working through that one. And they realized, I haven't even told them I'm sick. It's like, oh, I don't want to ask for their help. And, I don't want to lay this on them, or it's a very weird thing. And I'm not that way with my daughter. And I can easily go without talking to them for months. Very bizarre. Although I do know that both of them hate talking on the phones, but that's neither here nor there thing too. So I've been working through that stuff, and looking at the astrology, it's absolutely perfect. So one of the things that came up in my conversation with them afterwards is that I'm sensitive. We empaths get to be sensitive. And the whole theme going down with the pandemic is sacrifice. And things just started really clicking with me. I've been reading a really cool book called The Seventh Seal, which goes into the esoteric information around Christianity, Jesus, Egyptian stuff. It's really quite in depth. I've only like 3/4 of the way the first book, but I'm enjoying it. I had sort of a bias against religion, but also Christianity just from some events in my childhood. And I wasn't raised in any of those religions. So the idea of the sacrifice, well, one of the things he says in the book is that the Christ consciousness came through other souls, other than just Jesus, advanced souls. And there's Krishna or Buddha and Zoroaster, Zoroaster, those kinds of things. But then he said Osiris. And you may not know this, but my oversoul is the being we call Osiris.
Right.
And it was just like in my brain. I'm like, oh my God. Now I know why they attacked me. Because my oversoul carried the Christ consciousness. And that's a huge threat. That's what they're trying to prevent with the vaccines. I think the vaccines' bottom line is they're trying to prevent people from connecting with the Christ consciousness and ascending.
Yeah, well, just the same as the chemtrails in the sky to block out the sun and anything to damage your pineal to stop the messages coming through. I mean, so many layers that they're using to stop this, and they cannot stop it.
No, they can't, but they can mess with us. So, and then one of the things she wrote was, you're just too shiny, but she said, pull back your energy because, I think about, there's children killing themselves over this. And that just breaks my heart, it's like, oh, my empathic heart. And she's like, bring your energy back. You can't have it out there right now. You have to bring it back to you.
Yeah.
And I've really worked on that. And I also had a bunch of things click. It was like, oh, no wonder I'm so sensitive to it, right? You've got the whole Pisces, which is one of the astrology things I'm going to talk about. Sacrifice energy is what it's all about. And I think about family members and the energy I get when they're like, I had planned to come visit you, for a few weeks before going back to Africa. But, I'd have to quarantine for 2 weeks and you're a high risk person and I just don't think I can do it. I'm so sorry. And there is so much pleasure in that from this person, of someone very close to me and my family. Yeah, it was like, oh, I'm sacrificing so much for you. Oh. And it really
pisses you off.
me. Yeah, it pisses me off, but it's also like, ew. And then, if you think about
patronizing as well.
Yeah, I suppose. Although
you poor
like Capricorn energy.
You stay in the I'll go out in the world and have some fun.
Oh yeah, and then she goes back to Africa and self-isolates for 2 weeks.
Right.
And she'd been living with her husband in the U.S. for months and months. He went back to Africa early, so then when she went back, she self-isolated. I mean, she's just, when the people who are really buying into this, and it's it's the Karens and the Kens out there that are attacking people. You gotta put your mask on. We have to do it for the population. If you don't do it, I hope you and your whole family die. I mean, it's insane, right?
Yes, it is.
But that's the sacrifice energy. There's taking joy in sacrificing.
Well, you can look at that from many perspectives, I think, because even if you look at it from an elite point of view, that knocking off a large proportion of the population of the world through something that they fooled us into taking would be very pleasurable as well. And I look at the fights that are going on social media at the moment of there are some people, absolute warriors, that are throwing out there all their anti stuff, over and over again, all day, every day. And then you've got those who are so proud of the fact that they're at the front of the line and they're waiting for it. As soon as they can get it, they're going to get it. And I've tried to introduce some ideas to them. Like I put in, one time there's a photograph of the AstraZeneca one of the ingredients, and then it got deleted. by the platform, you know, so then people couldn't see it. So I was sort of emailing people things, but they were still like, nope, no, not going to look at that. No, they're deliberately not looking into it. So they're trying to be the big, brave, bold ones that are going to be first. And I'm sitting there going, can we not save these people? And then I remembered back all those years ago working with Mercredan, he said, you know, that there will be something coming up. Do not be afraid was the most important thing. And then the next, because originally when he said that, I thought he was talking about the event that we've been talking about, this lovely, magnificent, supernatural kind of changeover. But I think maybe he's talking about this event. And he said, those that decide to go have an agreement to do so. They kind of volunteer to do so. So this is where the, you know, yes, I understand the empathic side of things, but to be able to, like you say, pull your energy back in and go, if they agree to go, there is nothing I can do to stop them from doing what they're about to do. And you can't get upset about that, because it's just that, don't forget they're only one little strain of who they really are. That's
right.
Just the character, one chapter in the book for them. There are many chapters and many pages of their book of many lives over many eras. So if they just came basically for the turning point of 2012 and that's been done, then maybe this is a quick way to, you know, okay, we've got the elite who've got their agenda about reducing the population, but maybe there's a whole lot of people that are like, okay, we came to see the big 2012 switchover point. We've been here, done that now, and we can go. So we don't know what the agenda is as to why they choose to go right now. But it's
right.
possible that,
and it seems like probably most of the people who are totally buying the agenda are maybe not, you know, non-sold players anyway. Maybe. Not all of them, but, you know, because those are your Agent Smiths. They just do the program, whatever the program is, right? They don't have anything to wake up, you know, and become aware. But I was thinking about how they were preventing people from going to their churches and stuff. And I thought, well, wait a minute. If they're pushing sacrifice and you go to your Christian church and there's their ultimate symbol of sacrifice of Jesus and on the cross, why would they want to prevent that? And it hit me that, well, of course, you know, Rome put that symbol there. The man Jesus was not crucified. That's the whole going to the end of the world and resurrection thing, which is what Osiris did and what Mithras did. And, you know, that's the whole, but their explanation, they put that sacrifice into the story.
Right.
And it wasn't there. So it's not as powerful as the core seed of the Christ consciousness.
Or the teaching.
And of course the
teachings is what he wanted to be remembered by, not the death.
Yes.
That's what's come
to
the channel ever since then, right?
Yeah. According to this book I've been reading, there were 24 apostles. 12 men, 12 women.
Right. Which is more along the Essenes line, because they were, not that they were equal, but that each had their strengths, and you needed both to balance, kind of yin and yang.
Right.
Not that it was an Asian thing, but yeah, the Essenes believed in the value of they'd speak of the Heavenly Father and the Mother Earth in pretty much every breath. If they want to refer to, they always referred to the two together: Mother, Father, God, Heavenly Father, Earthly Mother, every time. Even the talking, even the things that have come through of the Essene scripts of Jesus's talk on the Mount was like that. I think we mentioned that in the last episode. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah. So the good news, folks, is the energy is going to start to ease up, especially going into March. And I've mentioned this before. I know, right? The end of March, there's some really beautiful alignments. And then the whole rest of the year, there are fewer connections. When you have a lot of oppositions and squares and even trines and sextiles and all these other things in charts, it's more challenge, it's more change, it's more transformation, it's more intense. And as we go forward, especially after, you know, in the end of March and going forward, there's less stuff happening. We can start to relax. And so I was looking at the full moon coming up in February 26th or 27th, depending where you are. And, we had that huge stellium, 6 planets in Aquarius. And Aquarius is air sign, mental. It's fixed. That means it can be very stubborn and very focused and very, what's the word I'm looking for? Really, it's sort of it can hold steady to something, or it can be just stuck. It's sort of, that's the polarity of it. And it's also very, did I say masculine? It's masculine, mental, all of that. And now we've had 3 of those. So what's still in Aquarius is Jupiter, Mercury, and Saturn. But what have moved into Pisces are the Sun, Venus, and Neptune. So Pisces, as you get past the mental rigidity and stuckness of Uranus, is feminine. It's a water sign. It's also what's called a mutable sign. And mutable is change and transformation. It likes to change things. So you've got 3 characteristics that are applied to signs. Fixed, which is how I describe Aquarius. Mutable, which is I can change things, I can work with this, I can compromise. And then the last one's called cardinal. And cardinal is Aries. Let's start something. I can initiate this.
Wow.
And then you combine all those with the 4 elements. So you've got a cardinal earth, cardinal air, da, 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 da. And it follows a pattern all the way around.
So this is for the end of February, not end of March?
This is the end of February. This is coming up close, and going into the beginning of March. And so the kind of energies I'm getting are, it's going to ease up. We'll be able to integrate the intensity that's been going on in a way we couldn't before. It was like, I got to figure this out. I know me. It's like, why am I acting like this? Why didn't I call my sons? Why haven't I let them know I've been so sick? Oh, I got to figure this out. It's like, okay, Pisces lets you just be with it. You don't have the answer. Choice A, choice B, which one is it? You don't have to have the answer. Be with it. Feel it in your heart. And be okay with not knowing.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that it is shifting. What you did during the intense Aquarius stuff is done. And now it's about integrating that. You don't have to do the force and that effort so much. Also, it's the other words I got were, be at peace, be still, rest your body. Your body's going through a lot. We all know that. Be kind to yourself. But also, there's a lot of healing energy, but it's not a forced healing. I'm thankful for that. It's like, okay, I can relax into the healing now.
Yeah.
And there's a way that I want to say you hold the vision, you trust. You know what? I'm not sure exactly how this is playing out or what my role is or what's going on out there in the world, but I know we're heading to ascension. And I'm just going to be okay and relax in that and let it happen. Sounds like a good thing, right? It's been so intense.
And I've noticed that again on social media, people have gone, oh, I just feel so heavy. And, rather than a nana nap, I need a coma nap in the afternoon. And just hundreds of people underneath going, yep, we're all feeling the same way. So
exactly.
It's worth, before in the years past, we're going, oh, hi, how are you? And we don't really care what the answer is. But now people are really asking and they're sharing. To be honest with you, I've been falling down. And to share that means that so many more people are noticing that it's it all happens to everybody at the same time, these same kind of issues. That sometimes they've got energy and they want to clean up everything and declutter, and then other times they're just fallen down and can't get up to do anything at all.
No, it's true. You and I, for years, have been so surprised, like, oh, I've been kind of going through this. And you're like, that just happened to me. We both went to the hospital at the same time. We both had this, physical challenges. And I was just like, whoa, right down the line. I remember that going back for years and years and years. Like, you too. It's not like we live near each other. I'm in the U.S., you're in Australia, but what is it? What's the phrase? I can't think of it, but the connection isn't about physical space. So one of the other things of just noticing with the Venus in Pisces is she's not that comfortable there. And you could feel disappointment or even blame toward your feminine aspect or females in your life. And I'm seeing that. And Venus is not in Pisces yet. Oh God, I didn't write down notes on the exact dates. I think on the 24th is when Venus goes into Pisces. And that was where, I was like, oh, I'm already feeling that part of me that's like, oh, I fucked up as a mom. I tried to be the best mom ever, and look what I did to my sons. I passed on another generation of stuff.
No.
But then to realize, no, step above that, get in that top of that triangle, as we always say, and look down, their souls chose that. And they've always been there for me. So, I have two lovely, strong men to support me. If I'll just let them in. It wasn't them who were staying away, it was me.
And maybe you can break that pattern that has been going down the generations if you do that.
Exactly. That's the plan, ma'am. I'm still in processing, obviously, the emotions around
and still
this.
recovering over the healing that you had as well. So yeah.
Right. Which brought all this stuff up. So I'm just going to go ahead and cry in the camera. I hope y'all don't mind. It took me
do what you need to do.
Years and taking classes to be ever able to cry in front of anybody. So if I can do it with a camera on me, I'm ahead of myself.
Yeah. Being vulnerable.
So the full moon that we're approaching, just a few days from when we're recording, is in Virgo, which means the moon's in Virgo, the sun's in Pisces. And so there's Virgo wants to get the work done. And it can be, the work, meaning your spiritual work, but it can also be the physical work. Virgo, if you have a Virgo ascendant or Pisces ascendant, you're considered on that axis. No, if Virgo ascendant, wait, it's still the axis, but it's the Virgo ascendant, is you don't want to be mated with somebody, and that's me. You don't want to be mated with somebody unless they're doing the work, whatever the work is for them. It doesn't have to be the same as you, but if they're not doing the work, there's no attraction. That's a very Virgo energy. And Virgo also is very connected to timing, when to reap, when to sow, when to harvest, all of this earthy kind of timing things. So Pisces is just like, chill, man. We're cool. Yeah. So it's to find the balance. They're opposite each other. So there's a part of you going, and I'm thinking about you, Annabelle, is that I should be I gotta do this work. I just have this part of me that I feel like I should be working. And there's a part of you going, nah, okay.
We don't need to finish anything today. It's okay.
Yeah, tomorrow's another day. So just having awareness that that's going on. And as we approach any celestial event, like a full moon is when the intensity of it is. So how many degrees away are we of that event? And then afterwards, it's, even though you're, 2 degrees after the event, it's not as intense as the approach. So here we go. Let's see, anything else?
So I have a question for you. There have been maybe 3 or 4 different people who've said to me that time around the 3rd week of March, 22nd, 24th or 25th of March, something really big is expected around there, but nobody can quite put their finger on what it is. Do you get that feeling at all?
Oh yeah, I'm one of the persons who mentioned it to you, that I got that when I looked at the reading for the very beginning of the year, looking at the whole year. It was like, ooh, end of March, 23rd, 24th.
What do you think it is?
Beginning of the 4th week. It's a good thing.
Because I wonder if the political thing is going to come more clear by then.
Yeah.
If all the military have still got their wire around DC, There was gas flames coming out of the footpath in Seattle. Was it this morning or yesterday? There's filming at nighttime of the back of the I think it was the White House with little people, which very likely to be children, being brought out and put into bus loads of these little kids or little people.
Really? When did I didn't see that?
That would have been where are we now? 25th. It's
25th. You're 25th.
24th for you, 25th for me. So it might have been maybe 2 weeks ago or something like that. It was a while ago.
Wow, I missed that one.
It was when all those buses went through. Do you remember seeing the pictures of millions of buses, all different brands going?
Yeah. I just didn't see anything with the children.
It was just people. one camera on the back of the White House at nighttime. Whether it's the White House or the Capitol building, I'm not sure. I can't remember, to be honest. But
from what I remember is the White House.
White House, okay.
And people are saying, they're cleaning out from what was underneath the White House.
Yeah, underneath. And there's still earthquakes happening. So I just put some up on social media today as well. But they're spread around. So they're not like before it was really obvious that they were working their way along a path. You could see that in the pathways where they're knocking out. It must be the tunnels. They're exactly 10 kilometers down. But these ones are all spread out, which means they could be simply random. There's one in Tonga, Bangladesh, Idaho.
Idaho?
Yeah, and Hastings.
I don't think of that being an earthquake place. That's interesting.
Yeah, so, but they just felt a bit random, Bangladesh and New Zealand. And so I don't know if they're connected at all or if they're just doing the final cleanup. I'm not sure.
As far as what's going to happen on the 23rd, 24th in that time of March, let's look. Let's ask our team. They're called the Sarah and Dippy team. And that just popped in, and then I realized it was Sarah, which is the first letters of my name, and the first letters of your name, right? And how silly we are, Dippy. And team, Sarah and Dippy team. And we get to be playful with it. So
perfect.
Yes, that's a team of, I don't know, what are they? Are they extraterrestrials? Are they our higher selves, our soul team, or all? Maybe it's the same thing. But
it's a mix. It's not just two of them up there. It's a
There's a group that have been kind of supporting us,
and they have a great sense of humor. Sometimes we're so serious and we're caught up in the news and the politics, and they just go, just have some fun.
Yes. We will frequently connect with them before we record, or we haven't done it in the last couple of times. But and we'll say, well, what should we do today? And they're like, be light with it. That's the magic. People would get sucked down into it, and you've just got to keep it light. It doesn't mean you ignore it, but that's what people need. So hopefully that's working for y'all.
Yeah.
And I think a whole lot more people are watching these videos than YouTube is letting us know. But that doesn't matter.
Is ridiculous. Yeah, but never mind. And as I said, I will not today, but I will get round to putting them all up on Rumble as well, just in case YouTube goes down. We don't
having a little bit of a Pisces day. You have to get ready for your radio show. So at any rate, let's connect with the team and see if they'll give us anything. Historically, every time I looked, it's been good news. It's going to be good news, and that's it.
Okay, well, let's look for fresh. I can only feel light, not challenges. Relief is what I feel.
Yeah, and that's so interesting. And right away, as I was feeling that relief, it led me to a memory of me going into my local grocery store a couple of days ago, and they had, during this whole pandemic, put a wall, not a wall, but like ropes. So you don't just go to the check stands. You had to go back over here and do a line around the store. And then they had plastic barrier there, and then a sign saying, please proceed to check stand 3. And then the gate would open up, and then you could go through, and all this control. And I went in there, and it was gone. And I'm walking along, heading to go to where I'm supposed to get in line. I'm like, I don't have to do that. I can just go in and and I wasn't wearing a mask.
Oh, that is different for your neighborhood.
Yeah. And so I got in line and there was another guy who was like, no, you go ahead. And I'm like, oh, okay. He said, we're just so used to going down there. I'm like, I know they've got a swell train, don't they? And he goes, yeah. And then I watched him reach up and go,
Oh, shit.
he was thinking about taking his mask off
Oh,
and he
I see what you
chickened
mean.
out.
Oh, I thought you meant he was like FBI or something.
No. He was just, I could tell he's like,
Thinking about it.
Michelle, we're wearing a mask and nothing's going on. Can I take my mask
Oh,
off?
isn't that great? Isn't that great?
Yeah. And as I was leaving, there was a guy who said, ma'am, do you have a mask? I'm like, yeah, I'm on my way out now.
No, bugger off.
Yeah. I don't want to engage. I don't want to, get a reputation or trouble. But reason I mentioned this is it was kind of cool, but also that feeling I felt when I realized these walls and restrictions and signs and it was like the Department of Motor Vehicles, it's like, please go to Trixton or
Yeah.
whatever 52B, and you wait forever and it's all regulated.
Yeah.
But that was what I just felt, oh God, it's ending.
It is. It's coming down, and it will take people a while. It's everybody feels like the elephant with the string around their foot that used to be a chain when they were a baby elephant, that they're all standing there with their string like, does that mean we can go? Can we step out? It's going to take a wee while, I think, for people to come back out of their shells, out into the sunshine.
So maybe what happens, and because I don't feel a negative reaction like from the program people, so maybe they change the way they process the tests so that you have fewer positives,
right,
and
less cycles now.
Yeah. And people are, oh, the numbers are going down. You still have Fauci up there going, well, wait, you can get your 2 shots, but we can't say yet that you can take your masks off and stop the other social distancing stuff. We were working really fast on trying to get that information. I'm like, does anybody believe this idiot?
Why haven't we got rid of him yet? Good grief.
Yeah. So maybe what'll happen, and it's not going to be something like, oh, the big arrest, Gates or Fauci or whatever, but it could be just, they go, okay, restrictions are off. You can have indoor eating. You don't have to wear masks anymore. We're fine. You don't have to have the plastic, And you're trying to, at a grocery store, you've got a plastic thing between you and the cashier.
I know.
And then you both have masks on, and it's like, what? Can you say that a little louder? It's ridiculous. So I think that could be it. Just that they finally
drop that down. So is this the relief?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody loves talking about the quantum financial system, and that the Federal Reserve went down. 9,000 banks or something couldn't do any transactions. Whether that's a hint towards heading towards quantum financial system, maybe not. There are 2 systems. I'm not sure if we talked about that before. One is the Great Reset that Prince Charles likes to talk about, and Schwab with the New Order big jacket on, quilted jacket, making him look like he's the great Lord Master. Apparently they can't get theirs online. And I had that explained to me, that their system, which is meant to be quantum, meant to be very high tech, but is definitely against all of us, will not go ahead because it's not, quantum is a higher dimension anyway. So it's got to fit in with at least 5D, which is benevolent and caring and high integrity and full transparency. So you cannot set up a baddies version of a quantum system and have it go online. It won't work.
It goes against the universal laws, right?
Exactly. So whereas the other side of things, the other money system, which we get the impression has been trialed and is running, we get that from Kim Possible, but we haven't heard any more from her. She's conveniently disappeared, so we don't know if she's either really busy now working on the real job, or if they've just been found out and it's not the case. We're not sure. I haven't had hit on.
That isn't the only person who's been talking about this. The guy who wrote this book, The Seventh Seal, I've been reading. I saw him. That's how I found out about it. he's talking about it too. He's been working on the quantum computer for banking. So, you know, and he's got all these books and has been around forever. He's not just a beautiful blonde who popped up out of nowhere. I mean,
what, like me?
not that I was just about to say, not that a beautiful blonde who pops out of nowhere can't be telling the truth and be really powerful and awesome and a starseed.
Tap dance, girl. You just keep tap dancing.
Oopie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you're saying that he said this more recently, or when he wrote the book, which was ages ago?
No. He originally wrote the book, I think 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But has updated it. There's a woman who's an astrologer and a guy who's an intuitive, or vice versa.
Is that Charlie Freak?
I can think of what it is. No, oh God. They're on YouTube. If I can find it, I'll put a link down below or put it up on the screen. But they were talking about it, and he came on as a guest.
Okay.
And those are two people I'd listened to before. And it was, I guess it would have been around the beginning of the year because they were talking about what they both saw going forward into 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see if I can find it.
It
was interesting. Actually, very much what we were talking about, real intensity for the first 2.5 months or so. And then something good is going to happen and then things are going to ease up. So we're going to get there.
We are. Just hang in there. Another month. Hold on. And if you find that you are really struggling, find somebody that you can talk to that understands this kind of stuff. Or what I found the other day was a video that I'm really not sure what I'm looking at, but it really literally looks like Star Wars. It's enormous explosions out in space that were recorded by NASA 2007 to 2008. It is the most amazing video. The lady who runs it, Texas Rose, I'll double check her name. She seems to think that it was the end of Uranus and Neptune being blasted to death in this war thing. And I'm not sure of that, but whatever it is that we're looking at is enormous, absolutely enormous.
Wait, this isn't CGI? This is...
No, these are real photographs from NASA. And she shows a lot of proof
NASA.
Of photographs that come out of NASA that have been photoshopped. So you see the original one. So I think you can actually pick up on live. And then the ones that they put out in the public have been photoshopped. They'll take out things.
Yeah, right. NASA, never a straight answer, right?
Exactly. So this is super cool. It's a very long video, and she's got at the beginning a whole explanation of Enki and Leal and Elizabeth, first and second being the same creature. And that's her view of it, which matches some people and doesn't match others. But this the whole footage, or I don't know if it's footage or a series of photographs of this stuff out in space is just amazing. You can't say that nothing's happening out there. And I was thinking, if these things are so big, you've got like wars between planets or whatever it is, that to have little Earth somewhere compared to that spinning. Because sometimes these battles between things, you look at the photographs, that they'll go months for this one to shoot and then that one to shoot. It'll take months. So I'm thinking that's only in our time, right? In our time on the Earth, we like spinning around. It's like one day, a week. That we're sitting here on Earth complaining about COVID and wondering what to make for dinner, and meanwhile, above our heads, there's this war of the battle. Huge energetic weapons, and it's amazing. So have a look at it. I'll put a time signature when it gets really, really wild.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting.
And then it'll put things in perspective. That's what I'm trying to say. If you feel heavy about what you're seeing on the telly or how people are talking around you, just watch this and you'll realize that we really don't have much to worry about. It's very dry compared to what's going on out there.
Interesting. Yeah. The other thing that when you were showing the spinning reminded me that when I was looking at what's going on energetically was using that image. Like if you have a challenge in your life, unravel it. Just, see it just sort of undoing. That's a really good visual right now. And it has something to do with the way the planet spins. It's almost like go the other way to unravel it. And then the other part is we had so much mental that it's okay to watch a silly movie or, do a puzzle or something that lets your brain kind of like do something, but gives you a break.
Hey, I have such a beautiful, healthy diet most of the time. You know what I bought yesterday? 12 cinnamon donuts.
Oh my God.
I don't know why.
Now,
I was walking through the car park and it's next to the chimney that comes up from the supermarket. It's the roof car park. And I'm like, oh, okay. I haven't had donuts for years, but I thought it was something silly to buy for breakfast. I felt like a New York policeman.
And did it taste yummy?
It did.
So it was very beautiful and healthy for you.
Or playful, one or the other.
And that's good. I mean, hello, have we had much play recently?
Not enough.
Not me. Yeah. So play is good.
Like
all right. Well, I think that's everything we wanted to talk about. Thanks for joining us.
See you next week.